Hello everybody, Bill Harrison here with Hardened Power Systems, shooting another video at the end of April 2018, introducing a new product. This is the Commander. It is a dedicated system designed around a specific radio, and that is the Yaesu 857D. The 857 is a great rig, very popular, very power hungry, very sophisticated, and we anticipate that there should be quite a few ham operators who have not been entirely pleased with how they're able to take this rig mobile and at the same time have it in a form factor that is still at home, just sitting on the bench, meaning that the Commander will support operations in the shack with no modifications. Simply plug the machine into the wall so it can maintain the battery bank and power the radio. Plug your antenna or antennas into the front panel of the Commander and operate the 857D from your shack, or simply unplug the antennas and the ground if you're using it, and the AC cord. Flip the head unit into the stowed position like that, and then when it's inside the ammo can, the lid will close. The machine is entirely portable. Take it wherever you need to go. Open the lid, flip the head unit down, power the machine up, and operate. We're pretty happy with this machine. It was I'll confess I was the primary designer, and there were several times when we almost gave up on being able to package everything we wanted into our target form factor, which was the Fat 50 ammo can. Happily, we were able to package everything. It almost looks easy now when you look at it. The swiveling head unit was one of the key things that made it possible, because with the head unit in the operating position, it protrudes above the plane at which the lid would close. So please do be sure to swivel this out of the way before you crank that lid down, or you will damage your radio. In any event, the Commander is definitely designed as a turnkey, I suppose all-in-one system to store, protect, power, operate, and just generally use the Yaesu 857D. So let's talk specifically about the front panel. We'll kind of walk you around everything here. Right here is the main power switch. Now you'll notice that powering this on or off blanks out the front of the Commander, but leaves the radio powered up, as well as the speakers. This is to allow you to run the system as dark as possible if you want to. Helps preserve night vision, and you may simply not need Andersons or USBs or the power meter to be operating, and you can just choose to run everything like that and have only the radio and the external speakers powered. But with the main power switch on, you see the charging status light up. You see our power meter light up, and the meter is nice. We use this in several different machines. It's a real-time power analyzer, in that it will both display in real time and display the accumulated values of the system voltage, and then the peak watts and amps, as well as the cumulative watt hours and amp hours that are used. Very handy once you start really using that display gives you an excellent idea how much power you're using, especially during transmission. And it helps to estimate remaining battery life, and this would apply, you know, to the other power points as well. So if you're running peripherals off of the commander, you'll see the energy that those devices are using as well. So main power switches here. You've got 2 external speakers, and you know, this was I think appropriate. The 857D, for as nice of a rig as it is, kind of has a tinny speaker. I don't doubt that there were some challenges there for Yaesu just in terms of size, but in any event, boy, is it nice to have 2 full range 3-watt forward facing speakers when you're running that rig. The charge indicator indicates the activity that's occurring on either of the 2 internal chargers. There is both a 3-stage solar controller and a 3-stage AC charger. If the LEDs are scrolling upward, it indicates that the system is receiving a charge. If all of the LEDs are lit, it indicates that the charging cycle is complete. In the state it's in now, with just the lowest most LED lit, it's simply indicating that it's in standby. Here is the charging input, and you can either plug in a solar panel, as long as it has a 5.5 by 2.1 DC coax, which is very common on the small panels. It's the same connector that we use on our little 27-watt panel. You can plug in up to 60 watts of solar. You can do that while the machine's operating, so you can charge it while you're using it. Very convenient. A lot of guys do that with our gear. The commander also has an AC cord that's hardwired into the machine, and during use would protrude through this little slot. That allows you to have the cord exiting the machine while the machine was inside the ammo can, provided the lid's open, of course. And then you can also plug the machine into AC and charge it that way, and also simply leave it that way, because the AC charger is a 3-stage, so it will bulk charge and taper charge and float. So in the shack, for example, you could have this sitting on the bench, powered up, and just leave it plugged into the wall. And that way, not only can you use it, of course, whenever you choose to, but you can also unplug it, take it, and go, and know that the batteries were always fully charged. Here are 2 3-amp USB drivers. These are independent power supplies, very powerful. Definitely can fast charge cell phones and tablets and things. These 2 USBs, since they are independent power supplies, they have a phantom load simply by being on, so we switch those. It only makes sense. If you're not using the USBs, leave that switch off so they're not trickling energy out of the battery bank. We've got a couple of Andersons in the standard red-right tongue-up format. These 2 Andersons are also switched, very convenient depending on what you're doing with them. And these will handle a distributed maximum of 20 amps. Here we've got a stainless steel grounding lug. This is connected from the front through a tinned and braided grounding strap that goes to a hydraulically crimped grounding lug that you can in turn attach to the chassis of the 857 if you want to ground your machine. Here we've got the 2 external antenna connections, which are simply a remote of the connections that are on the rear of the Yaesu. These are beautiful cables. Like all of the extensions that we use, these are manufactured for us by Wi-Fi experts out of California. Definitely a mil-spec cable. It's shielded RG400. They're just beautiful stuff. We love the work that Wi-Fi Experts does. If you need some extra some custom cables, I'd encourage you to talk to those folks. They really know what they're doing, and they do beautiful work. Here we've got a speaker jack and a headphone jack and a speaker to feet switch. The Yaesu's unique in that it has both an external speaker jack on the rig and a headphone jack on the head unit. But between those 2 connections, the front-mounted headphone jack and the speaker defeat. You can run this system very loud with both the radio's internal speaker and these two external speakers running. You can run it through headphones as well as the speakers operating, or you can just choose to run it with the headphones only working. And then here we've got a slot that allows you to take the microphone cord and exit it out of this area. So similar to the AC cord, this allows you to have the system installed in the ammo can during use, but still be able to access the microphone, of course, for use. You notice these two standoffs here with rubber bumpers. These are designed to interface with the underside of the lid of the can. When the lid closes, it presses on these rubber bumpers and holds the system securely inside the can. And then let's take a look here. Now I know there's a lot going on here, but that's because there's a lot going on here. Suffice to say that you can install and remove the radio and the head unit without tools. It does take, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes to do a nice job of it, so I'm not going to do it on camera here. But the bungee straps hold the radio very securely. I'll show you a little bit more here in a second. In fact, I'll just do that now. We'll cut. I'll remove the rig, and then we'll talk a little bit about the battery bay and some of the internals. Okay, so here we are with the body of the radio removed from the radio bay. We'll just quick run through what you're seeing here. With the head unit swiveled out of the way, you can see two inline fuse holders. Now, this is exactly per Yaesu factory spec, so we are fusing both the positive and the negative supply lines going to the radio. They're 30 amp fuses. You can access them without tools. They are rigidly fixed in here. They're not going anywhere. And then in turn, that power lead comes out to the radio. And again, this is factory spec. This is 12 gauge fine strand wire, and then the correct Molex connector to plug directly into the radio. This does mean that, of course, you can keep whatever power cables you already have for your 857. You can just, you don't have to worry about those. Everything is ready to go in the commander to simply plug into the Yaesu. The two antenna extensions that plug into the back of the radio, the audio jack that plugs into the back of the radio. This is the braided grounding strap that you would connect to the chassis if you chose to ground the rig. And then this is the AC charger that charges the internal battery bank. And then here you can see the internal circuit breaker, that little round button. That's a 20 amp resettable breaker that does not affect the radio, but it is connected to all the power points on the front of the machine. So obviously if you accidentally were pulling too much power, or if you had a dead short or something in a peripheral, the commander would shut down the front panel until you reset that breaker. Also, on the rear of the machine, you've got two little swivel latches, and that allows this panel to be swiveled up in order to be able to access the two batteries, and that would allow you to install or swap out batteries, and to do so without any tools, and really fairly quickly. These two rails support and locate the radio. When it's put into place correctly, it pretty much locks in here, and then these diamond braid bungees hold the radio against these rails. It's very secure once it's in. You'll realize that it's not going anywhere. A quick note about general construction. don't know if you can see much here, but the joints are all mortise and tenon. It's a really nice way to do it, especially when you're using a CNC machine that's so accurate. So mortise and tenon joints along with stainless steel screws everywhere, it creates a very strong, very stiff and square chassis. It just actually it kind of makes them fun to build. It's kind of like cabinetry. So in any event, I don't know if we'll show it in the ammo can. You know, we've got photographs on the site that show that. It simply slides in and out without tools. I should mention too, if you didn't notice earlier, that there is a space for the microphone to sit inside the chassis when everything's in the can. Oh, let's take a look. So the head unit is attached to this swivel. And again, that was necessary in order to make things package. In this view, you can appreciate that the head unit protrudes significantly beyond what would be the interior lid of the ammo can. But once it's swiveled up out of the way like this, it then tucks in. One of the neat things, though, is these little silicone straps make it just that easy to remove your head unit. If you chose to do so. So anyway, that's the new Commander. We'd love to build you one. This is Bill Harrison with Hardened Power Systems. I really appreciate your time. 73 to everybody, and I guess we'll see you on the air. Take care.